Hello friends, I hope you guys are doing well. It's early July. I'm in zone 6B7A and now it's the perfect time. I'm going to see what roses I have to deadhead, and also I'll be doing my second round of fertilizing, second and last I should say, because with your roses you want to fertilize them at this point early in summer and not towards the end of summer when they're gonna give you a new set of bloom and fall will be here. So something to keep in mind if you're going to fertilize your rose early summer. Well, for me in my zone is the last season I'll be fertilizing my roses, and I do have some spent blooms I just need to deadhead. And we're also going to treat the plants, we're going to inspect it, do some spraying. But first friends, I'm going to deadhead them, clean them, inspect the rose bushes, and then I will say in a couple of days I will fertilize. I don't want to fertilize and spray them at the same time. I'm not sure if anything is wrong with that, but I just don't want to do the two together. So let's deadhead them, clean up the rows, spray them, and then a couple of days we'll come back and fertilize them. And I'll be using Alaska Fish Fertilizer. Works amazingly. All right, so on this end we're gonna start over here, and then I'll give you a tour of the roses when they're in bloom again. And do you see what I'm talking about? Look at that. There's a bug right in there. Exactly. Friends, with roses you just have to come out and inspect your roses. It doesn't matter what spray you use for the bugs, they work, but it's just the type of, it's just what roses are, right? They're just attracting different bugs that you probably don't want on them and aphids and all of that. So I feel like when you do a regular routine checkup on your roses, I think that's like the best method out there, along with your spray, right? To do, you have to come out, pick them, and just inspect them on a regular basis to keep up with it. It's just part of having roses in the garden, and that's just from my opinion. If you agree with me, let me know down below. And you could see the new growth coming out from here. Anyway friends, walk around the garden with me. Let's see what we need to deadhead. We're gonna inspect them, clean them, treat them, all of that good stuff. First, let's start over here. Look at this. Oh my goodness, it looks like a beetle. All right friends, I have this old bucket from the dollar store with some soap, just good old dish soap, right? And some water. So when we get the bugs, we're just gonna knock the bugs in there. All right. And then I have some gloves here, so that way I don't have to use my garden gloves. I could just dispose of these. I have my pruner. Make sure you get some wipes. You could use any antibacterial wipes, anything to clean the pruner, because you don't want to use your pruner on one rose, right? And then if the rose has disease, you transfer it to the other one. So clean your pruner in between usage. And then this guy I used last year, it worked really well. There's a lot of natural ingredients in here, like rosemary, sesame oil, peppermint, thyme, cinnamon oil, garlic oil. It works really well. And I mixed it in this spray bottle. However, friends, I was doing some research and I found this, and this got excellent reviews. I'm telling you, excellent reviews. So I like trying stuff. So we're gonna try this Bio Advanced Rose and Flower Plant Care. It says insect control, Japanese beetles, aphids, and other listed pests, disease control, black spot, powdery mildew, rust, and other listed diseases, plant mite control. So as I said, it got a lot of great reviews, so we're gonna give this a try and see how it works. So let me read the instructions and then I'll dilute it in my spray bottle. I like this spray bottle because the nozzle is really strong, so it helps to, like, if there's bugs on the roses and when I spray it, it actually helps to get those bugs off. So I love using this. Anyway, so let me get my setup ready and then I'll get back to you. Friends, I thought I had to dilute this, but I don't. Right here it says, where is it? What did I see? Ready to use. Right here. Ready to use. Do you see that? However, when I was reading to see how much water I need, it doesn't say that. It says shake well before using, adjust nozzle to desired spray pattern, hold sprayer about 12 inches from foliage, spray leaves, stems, and tender new shoots. So I don't need to mix this with water. I just spray it like that. And it said treats up to 3 rose bushes, 5 by 5 feet. Apply at a rate of 3 ounces per square feet. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so I'm just gonna spray because it says ready to use. I don't need to dilute it. I thought I needed to dilute it, but very important, friends. I love my pollinators. It says do not make applications during rain, and it says to protect pollinator when blooms are present. Apply the product during early morning or late evening. It's now late evening when bees are not foraging. If applied prior to bloom or blooms are removed or petals or fall is complete, applications may be made during the day. So very important to keep the pollinators in mind because we don't want to destroy the good pollinators or the good bugs around the rose shrubs. And it gives you other directions when to apply it. So anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and come on over here with me and we're gonna try this out. It says 3-in-1 insect, plant mite control, disease control, black spot, powdery mildew, rust, scab, and all of that. But I want to deadhead any spent blooms first before I apply this, just to make it cleaner. Do you see the bugs in there? So guess what? I'm gonna take this guy off, and look at that. Right in the water it goes. I don't want to deal with the bugs. So friends, for these spent blooms, I just come here and I just clip it there. That's how I do it. Some people say go 5 leaves down and all that stuff. I just look at the branch here. Once there's no new growth on it or there's no bud coming from it, I just clip it end. Very important. See all the mess I'm making? I'm gonna go and pick up all of that. I don't leave it underground. So for example, friends, you see the new growth here, because I did clean this rose already, but these were some last blooms on there. I'm not going to cut here because if I cut right there, I'm cutting all the red new growth. So in this case, friends, I'll just come here right there and clip that, so that way I don't cut the new growth. And the new growth you can see is the red, right? That's how you know what the new growth looks like. Come in here, same thing, cut that around the rows and just cut all those spent blooms like that. That's how I do it. All right, friends, do you see how it looks so much better by just deadheading those spent blooms? Just look at that, right? And all these are new buds here, friends. They're gonna come out, and you can see right here where I was telling you, I just cut right there, and I just right here, always leave the new growth, don't cut it off. If you can't get the entire stem, just leave that alone and just clip the spent bloom itself. It looks so much better. All right, friends, and then let's go over here. Look at this yarrow. Friends, look at this, my Cleome. Oh my goodness, just look at that. I can't believe it. Anyways, let's go over here. This is an Easter basket rose. So we're gonna do the same thing. So if you look here, right, with this one, friends, I'm just gonna go right here and clip that here and clip that, and then clip here and just clip all around. And then all this, we're just gonna clip it all off. All right, friends, so see how it looks so much better. And guess what? I noticed the bugs aren't really getting this rose bush. The leaves look so good, the foliage looks good. So I don't know how the bugs decide what rose they're going after. And look at the new growth. Do you see new growth coming out here? You can see how it's different from the green leaf. The leaves look younger, and you can see the color in there. That's how you know that's your new growth. And here's a new growth coming from there too. So this looks so much better here. So we're gonna go, I think I have another rose in the front, same thing, and then come back and then spray them up. All right, friends, and I wanted to show you this salvia. Do you see how it spread out like that? So when it rained, I don't know, I just feel like this always happens with salvia. It just forms like a hole in the center. But with this one, friends, it needs to be trimmed back here so it can rejuvenate and give me a new set of blooms. As you can see here, I have new blooms coming from the center. So I'm gonna go just around the plant here and just cut it back, cut down all these spent blooms, and that will help to rejuvenate the plant. Friends, I hope you can see the sun is out, but look, I've been going around the garden and I have this old spoon I use to do garden stuff. So what I'm doing here, I've been going around the roses and I've been knocking the bugs off in the soapy water. So let me show you a ton of them here. I'm trying to capture this on camera so you could see what I'm doing here. Okay, so do you see all the way going down there? Yes, do you see them? So I'm gonna take the spoon and I'm just gonna do that and knock them off in the water. I'm not sure if you saw that, but you could see some on top there underneath the sod right there. Do you see that? I'm hoping you can see because I can't even see because the sun is out. And here's another one coming here. Oh, there you go. See it? It's the red with black. It looks like a ladybug, but it's not a ladybug. I'm not sure which bug that is, but I know it's a bad bug. So that's what I'm doing here. Alright friends, so this is my second bottle. I have a lot of roses in the garden, so I use the other bottles on 6 roses already. So this one is the Eden rose. Excuse the sun, it's out. Friends, this was so beautiful. I can't wait to share it with you. So we're gonna spray this also, and then this other one, and you could see we're gonna get our new set of blooms very, very soon. Look at this. Do you see all these beautiful buds on here? Yep, I can't wait. Absolutely gorgeous. All right friends, so I have it going here. See, I could see a bug right there. So with this, I'm just spraying like this, then I'm going to go low. Always make sure you go low, okay? Do you see that, how I'm spraying upwards? Because a lot of time the bugs, they hide below. And don't forget to go all the way down here and spray. And then I'm gonna come and just remove these yellow looking leaves on there. But don't forget to go low, go underneath the plant. If you're gonna touch a plant, make sure you wear gloves in here. Very important. Don't wash your hands after. I think we all know that, right? So I'm just gonna thoroughly go through here. And you don't want to do this on a windy day because you know what's gonna happen, right? The wind is just gonna make a mess, and you don't want to do this when it's gonna rain. That defeats the whole point. So make sure there's no rain in your forecast, at least a few days ahead, I would say, so the rain doesn't rinse off that. Look at that. Do you see that? I got a bug and it fell right in the ground. All right friends, so the roses are taken care of. So I went around and I treated them with that spray I shared with you. So I'm going to fertilize them now. I went through in-depth details with how I fertilize my roses. So we're just gonna give a second round of treatment using the Alaska Fish Fertilizer, and the instructions are there. I'm not gonna go in details with this. I'll link the video down for you below when I went in detail with when I use a fish fertilizer. So I have my good old bottle here. I'm gonna mix it in here, and then each rose will get 1 bottle of this with the fish fertilizer. All right, so it says 3 tablespoons there. So I'm gonna add in here, fill this, and then go around the garden and feed the roses. All right friends, look at the salvia. So I cut it all the way back, and look at the amount of room is here. Just look how it opened up the plant, right? I was so excited about that. I love salvias, but at this point in the season you do need to cut them back so they can give you a new set of bloom. But the one gets bigger than it should. But anyway, so here's our fish fertilizer mixture, and I'm gonna aim it right there at the soil level, okay? And 1 gallon per rose plant. All right friends, so I'm gonna go around and do the same for each rose in the garden. All right friends, so I spray the roses and I fertilize them, and it's looking so good. Look at the new buds coming out here. Just can't wait for them to open. And here you can see a bloom of the Eden rose. Absolutely gorgeous. So with your roses friends, you just have to keep up the maintenance with them. I don't know if there's any way to avoid bugs around your roses. You just have to check them on a regular routine. And when you're checking, just don't check like this. Make sure you go under and check around them, spray them. And if you don't want to use store-bought products, you can simply make soap with some neem oil works very well, or peppermint oil, garlic oil, any of those natural oil with water, and get one of those spray bottles that's really strong and spray the roses. As I share with you, you could just do soap in a bucket, get a spoon or something or stick, whatever, knock them off gently in the soap water. Don't go around just knocking the bushes. Don't go around just knocking the bugs off the roses like that, because guess what? You're gonna knock them off, they're not gonna die. They're gonna go right back onto the rose bushes. So just knock them off in soap water so they can actually die in there, and that way you help with the population of those bad bugs on your roses. All right friends, and as I said, with the fertilization, you should do it early summer. Don't wait until later summer, because you don't want the roses to put out new buds to form blooms for you, because then fall will be here and then you're telling the roses to give more blooms, and you don't want that, because you want the roses to go through the natural process where they bloom and that's it, and they're not blooming and they know to go to sleep, or whatever the term is, right? Very important. Don't feed them in late summer. Early summer is perfect for your last feed to give them, so that way they give you buds and all of that. Once again, if you feed them late summer into fall, then you're gonna have buds going into late fall when your frost is going to be here, and then the roses are just gonna die back, right, with the frost, so to speak. So just make sure you don't feed your roses later in the summer into the fall. Now is the perfect time to give them one more set of fertilizer, and that's what I do in my garden, and that's what works for me. All right friends, oh my goodness, look at the cornflowers. Thank you so much for being here as always. Appreciate you guys, and I can't wait to give you a tour of when these are in bloom. I did give you a little tour in between with them, but I want to give you a full rose tour of the roses in the garden. I'm telling you, they come quick and they just become spent bloom real quick. So I'm making sure I give you a full tour. And look at our bee friends, loving the echinacea. All right friends, I'll leave you on that note. Thank you for being here, and let me know, what do you use to treat your rose? What do you use to fertilize your rose? Let me know down in the comment box below. So I'll see you guys in the next one, and take care of yourselves now. Cheers.